horror comedy movie called Satanic Panic. The movie begins with an unidentified woman entering a house and attacking the occupants. One of the occupants is the woman's daughter and she begs her not to hurt her. Her pleading is ignored by the woman and she is attacked. The woman moves on to the second occupant and attacks him too. In the next scene, Samantha Kraft plays a video of her playing the guitar and singing to her coworkers Kareem and Duncan as she starts her first day as a pizza delivery girl. The manager of the pizza shop calls out 3 delivery locations and gives each worker their spot. Samantha is given S-Town. Her coworker Kareem tells her that nothing good ever happens in S-Town. She prepares to commence her delivery schedule. The manager of the pizza shop requests that she pay a $5 deposit on the thermal bag. Samantha asks her colleague Duncan why her delivery spot is called S-Town. The colleague replies that it's because residents there do not tip. Samantha has a terrible day delivering pizza. She delivers to a guy named Sam who tries to get her to help him move a couch in. Samantha refuses and then he tells her about the code of the Sams. After helping him out, he refuses to tip her. She delivers to an old lady who gives her a smelly old sweater as a tip, and her last delivery tries to lure her into doing something dirty but she refuses. Samantha leaves S-Town frustrated. She returns back to work and complains to her colleague Duncan that her customers aren't giving her tips. Samantha accepts delivery in a wealthy neighborhood called Mill Basin. She is hopeful that she would definitely get good tips. When she gets to the destination, a strange-looking man, Gary Numiere, receives the order but refuses to tip her. Samantha is disappointed and frustrated by this and returns to her delivery bike. Unfortunately, the bike does not start because there is no gas in it. Samantha returns to the house and tries to find a way in. She enters the mansion through a back door and finds a group of people listening in obedience to a woman. She introduces herself and demands a tip. Unknown to Samantha, she had interrupted a secret gathering of Satan worshippers led by Danica Ross. The leader of the coven discovers that Samantha is a virgin and he captures her. They blow a powder into her face that knocks her out. Up next, Samantha wakes up in a room and finds herself with Danica's husband, Samuel, who had also been held captive. Samantha tells him her reason for being in the house. Samuel explains to Samantha what the cult plans to do to her. He tells her that the coven plans to summon the demon Baphomet but needs a virgin's womb to do so. Samuel discovers that Samantha is a virgin. He proposes a way to save her life. He tells her that since the ritual cannot go on without a virgin, she should let him take her virginity. Samantha bluntly refuses the offer and he tries to assault her. Later on, Samuel tells her that worshipping and sacrificing to Satan is how the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. He pulls out a gun but he doesn't know how to use it. While fiddling with the gun, he accidentally hurts himself fatally and, by getting a chance, Samantha escapes outside. Danica and the coven come into the room to find Samantha missing. She sees her husband Samuel laying on the floor in a pool of blood. Samuel is still alive at this point but struggling to breathe. She tells him that they were almost at the finish line and that it was his fault that he is dead. Danica puts her hand into the bullet wound and pulls out his heart. She hands the heart over to one of the members of the coven and gives her a recipe for cooking it. Meanwhile, Samantha runs down the street to another mansion, where she asks for help. She is answered by a babysitter, Kristen. She helps Samantha clean the blood on her body as Samantha explains what happened in the other house. Samantha tells Kristen her experience with the cult. While Samantha talks to her, she gets cautious and asks Kristen if she was alone in the house. Kristen tells her she is in the house with the 2 boys she babysits. Samantha asks Kristen to call the cops. Kristen leaves to go call the police but comes back with a glass of cola. She offers the cola to Samantha and Samantha asks if she has called the cops. Kristen tells her she forgot and assures her that she would do that now. She encourages Samantha to drink cola. Samantha is about to drink the cola when she hears a muffled sound coming from upstairs. Samantha drops the glass on the table and one of the kids in the house runs to grab it. The boy drinks the cola and collapses. Kristen returns and begins to act erratically. Samantha discovers that the woman is also a member of the coven. The other boy attacks Samantha with a taser but Samantha knocks him out. Kristen chases her upstairs where another woman named Michelle appears. She tries to attack her with a drill but ends up hurting Kristen instead. Michelle angrily tries to attack Samantha again but accidentally electrocutes herself. Meanwhile, Samantha hears cries for help from a bedroom, and she enters to find Judy Ross tied to the bed. Samantha frees her and together they try to escape the house. She calls the police but the call gets redirected to Danica, who figures out where they are and goes after her with the coven. In the next scene, Samantha and Judy escape to another apartment which Judy surrounds with salt to prevent demons from entering. Danica and the coven create a soul monster to go find her. Samantha escapes the creature with Judy's help. Judy tells Samantha that the monster is called a Hoxton cloak. The coven, now inspired by Gypsy, begins to question Danica's leadership, and when the rest of the coven sides with Gypsy, Danica agrees to let Gypsy conduct a ritual to curse and kill Judy. She tells Samantha that she was homeschooled all her life and that when she found out what her mother wanted to do with her virginity, purpose. Up next, while Gypsy performs the ritual to take out Judy, Danica takes Duncan's number from Samantha's phone and invites him over. Samantha tells Judy that she is still a virgin. While they talk, Samantha notices that Judy is bleeding out of her nose. The spell begins to take effect on Judy, but luckily Judy knows a counterspell to eradicate the spell on her. With Samantha's help, they cure Judy of the curse. Gypsy gets mad when the curse on Judy fails to kill her. She tells the other members of the coven that Danica has taught Judy all the spells. Later on, Duncan arrives at Danica's house and Danica offers him some substance. He takes it and begins to feel numb. Gypsy confronts Danica about teaching her daughter the protection magic that allowed her to survive. Another coven member suddenly plunges a spike into Danica's head and knocks her out. Judy calls Gypsy from Yossi's and lures her back to the house. After the coven leaves in search of Samantha and Judy, Danica resurrects herself. In the next scene, Danica finds and captures Samantha and Judy before the other coven members and then brings them to the sacrificial altar. The girls wake up to find themselves tied to an altar in Danica's backyard, surrounded by the coven. Danica walks in triumphant and back in control of the coven. She instructs the members to pour a circle of salt around them to prevent the ritual from failing. Danica then uses a spell to drown Gypsy. Other members of the coven who betrayed Danica begin to ask for forgiveness, but she tells them that she would rather die than forgive them. As Gypsy falls to the ground, she breaks the protective circle of salt laid to prevent the ritual from being disturbed. As the summoning begins, Samantha's tummy begins to grow bigger and is supernaturally impregnated by Baphomet. Samantha spots Gary and gets mad about him not tipping her earlier. She begins to berate him and call him names. Samantha gets angry and is able to break free from her bonds. She holds a knife to her now pregnant belly and threatens to hurt herself if Judy is not released. Instead of releasing Judy, Danica attacks her with a knife and takes her out. Right after that, Sam suddenly goes into labor and to calm herself she repeats a "two fuzzy bunnies" mantra. To the surprise of Danica and other members of the coven, Samantha gives birth to 2 fuzzy bunnies instead of Baphomet. Then Sam suddenly wakes up fully clothed and alone beside her bike. She sees a little girl playing on a swing and goes to meet her. The little girl introduces herself as a demon named Samaziel. Samaziel explains that in hell, she ranks higher than Baphomet and that if any demon was to be worshipped, it should be her. Samaziel claims that members of the coven had broken the rules and she hates when people break rules. She further explained to Samantha that the protective line of salt had been disturbed by Gypsy's death. Samaziel was able to enter and sabotage the ritual. Samaziel picks up one of the fuzzy bunnies and eats it. Samaziel also threatens to hurt Samantha as she was the last. Samantha tells Samaziel about the rule of the Sams. She tells Samaziel that there are 7 million Sams in the world and that she is surprised Samaziel doesn't know it. She tells Samaziel that the code of the Sams is Sams helping Sams. Samaziel does not believe this and calls Samantha a liar. Samantha tells her that she has more people to play with. Samaziel tells her to run, and as Samantha runs away with the other fuzzy bunny, the yard is again populated with the coven. Danica is decapitated as Samaziel laughs. And then coven members begin to choke. Samantha escapes to her bike with the bunny and drives off as Samaziel waves goodbye. In the next scene, Sam returns to the pizza store. Her boss asks about the thermal bag and tells her she can't bring a rodent into the store. Samantha retrieves her $5 and tells her boss that the bunny is Judy Jr. and not a rodent. Her boss asks her where she is going. Samantha tells him that she is going to Australia and leaves with her bunny. She rides away with a smile on her face. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching, guys.